So today's event is really about bringing together our mentors, our mentees, all the people that have been involved in this project to this point who have been part of our boot camps, mentorship program, and we want to share their stories. We want to give people a chance to pitch their companies and to talk about the challenges that they're tackling. This is also a great chance to connect with some other funders, investors, and fellow mentors who might just have the right insights or solutions to support or help one of these startups or companies that are involved in our project. So just quick looking at the agenda. I'm wrapping up kind of our opening remarks, of course, and next up will be a deep dive into mentorship and growth. Our fantastic partners, of course, from Portugal, the Blue Bio Alliance, will be providing us with a bit of an overview of the mentor-mentee program that we've just now been wrapping up. That's been leading up to today, and give some of the results, the feedback, and some of the impact that we've seen so far. After that, we're going to hear directly from some of our mentors and mentees in a Stories of Transformation. They'll be sharing their stories, real examples of how mentorship has helped them navigate obstacles, grow their businesses, and just open up their networks. So we're really excited to have some of our, hear some of the real life stories. Of course, after that, we're going to take just a quick break before jumping into an interactive part of the day, where we're going to hear some rapid fire startup pitches. And this will be a chance to hear from a group of startups, exciting startups, and explore some potential matchmaking opportunities. Then we're going to open up the floor to hear from our investors, of course, the funders and mentors and experts in a guided discussion before heading into some wrap up and information that we want to leave this bootcamp with so we can continue the dialogue after. So this is an exciting, very tightly packed agenda, all online. So we'll hopefully be able to keep to time and keep to point, and really looking forward to diving into this with all of you. Just a quick background, most of you have already heard, but to remind you that BlueBioClusters, the project that's behind this activity, is all about helping coastal regions to tap into the potential of the blue bioeconomy. And we are 11 partner organizations, and we have a huge network of blue bio stakeholders that have been at the center of our activities, connecting people, producing tools, and generating know-how as a means to create strong regional ecosystems across Europe. And of course, showcasing real success stories and helping to encourage a lot of collaboration. So just to give you that idea of where all the partners are spread across Europe here, the 11, and the objectives as listed here that we, of course, through the project are trying to provide regional actors access to technologies, blue bio-based technologies for regional transformation. We're all working to support startups and SMEs in developing circular and eco-friendly business ideas. We, of course, are using the project as a way to showcase all the inspiring examples of circular blue bioeconomy value chains. And throughout the project, we've been able to develop really interesting tools that are going to help integrate ecosystem services into business models and foster more cross-sector collaboration. And of course, above all, it's really about engaging stakeholders through these different targeted activities in both the regions where our partners are, but even beyond. This event today is, of course, one of many project initiatives in the Blue Bio clusters that is about trying to stimulate and accelerate growth of sustainable blue bioeconomy. And our purpose, the activities today are to, of course, trying to empower startups and SMEs across our regions to turn their sustainable business ideas into reality. And of course, ideas with potential to really drive that positive change in our coastal communities and marine environments. So today we're wrapping up a lot of the activities that have been focusing on strengthening innovation ecosystems, offering some targeted support through mentorship and matchmaking and knowledge exchange. And this has been a really core to our project, and we're going to be telling you a little bit more about it today and really engaging all the aspects of this matchmaking, the power of matchmaking, as we have said within the project. But here to talk more about our activities and that have led up to this event is our Blue Bio Alliance partner and Mariana Papiero. So I'm going to open up the stage now for her to tell us more specifically about just the matchmaking and mentorship and how all of these activities have culminated into today. So welcome, Mariana.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Sonia, for the introduction. It's very good to be here and see those familiar faces all in this final phase of this BlueBioClusters project. As Sonia was saying, the BlueBio Startup and SME support package was core in this project. We tried to create activities that could support you, startups and SMEs working on the project partner regions to overcome the challenge that you were facing. So first of all, almost 3 years ago, we started mapping the challenge achieved with this project and with this support package for more sustainable transition in coastal regions. So the goal was to stimulate and accelerate your projects, and we hope we did it. So can you move the slide, please? All the participants of the regional bootcamp had access to tailored mentorship, and this process we created 30 tailored mentorship process across the regions, not only with mentors of the region. So Blue Biomatch was very important to find specific mentors for your needs. And you also, as far as I know and I follow some of the projects, I know that you found your mentor in the Blue Biomatch. So this tool was very important also to look for expertise to support you with more tailored mentorship. And this was invested, the project invested more than 50K of the project budget in this process. So to give you the tailored mentorship to overcome your challenges. You can move the slide, please. And we have some mentors that support your project in terms of R&D and technical and scientific advisory. So we had aquaculture considerations for improving biofilters, to look for new strains and the optimization of the processing of aquaculture systems, testing protocols. It was also a topic that was addressed in the mentorship process, and IP and prototyping. So prototyping is also very common in this stage when you want to innovate. So in overall, these were the topics that our mentors help us to address with you in different regions, in different startups and SMEs. In terms of the group of startups that add the mentorship, we are also happy because we could touch all the value chains that we were planning to work in the project. We had projects working on seaweed aquaculture, fish aquaculture and RAS system, and also cyanobacteria and marine biotech research. And aquaculture of bivalve. So we have here all the value chain with representatives of these bioresources. We will know more in the section because we will present a solution, but overall we have this very good group that are representing from these bioresources. In terms of timeline, some of you told us that it was a short timeline to do all this mentorship process. This was predicted to be 6 months to do all this mentorship process. This was predicted to be 6 months. The capacity limitation. Some of you also mentioned that you are quite limited in terms of teams. So it was difficult to accomplish all the requests of the mentors. And overall, I think we are all very happy with the work that we have done. Thank you for all the participants and congratulations for the work that you have done to reach your goals. Mentor that was very important in this process, was key to support you in your needs and was very agile, trying to uh, fit the session with your work diligence. And BlueBioClusters partners were very important to make these bridges across regions. So this is all from my side.
Thank you so much, Mariana. And yeah, this was, as you say, fantastic results really from everybody. And if we could have had a longer time and more mentors and more involved, we would have, of course, loved that as well. So let's go right into what we really want to hear too, is of course stories directly from the mentors and the mentees. And so this part of the session today, we're calling it Stories of Transformation, where we actually want to give a chance for those mentors and mentees, a selected few there, just to talk quickly about the real experiences who've worked together in this program. And the stories, of course, highlight the value of collaboration, knowledge sharing, and personal connection, and how even maybe even if they were short interactions, how they could lead to meaningful change for the startups. So we've set it up so that each pair here will share their journey in just a very short 5 minutes by covering a little bit about who they are, how they connected, what they worked on together, and what that impact of the mentorship has had. And of course, we'll probably hear some really nice key takeaway pieces of advice that they'll want to pass on. So I'm going to ask those of you that, of course, are going to be presenting to maybe be ready to turn on your microphones and your cameras because we'll want to see you. And we're going to have 5 groups, and let's try to keep to 5 minutes each. I might break in if it tends to go a bit over time, but I would like to offer an opportunity for our mentee Aqua QLT from Lithuania and your mentor Vitautas to open up your cameras and your microphones and tell us about your mentor-mentee experience.
So hello everyone, can you hear me well? So Vytautas also should be here, so I'll introduce myself first. So I am Jonas Žalabaila and I represent the company AquaQLT, and we specialize in recirculating aquaculture systems, specifically with shrimps. And the challenge that we had for this mentorship program is basically that we had this research and development project that we wanted to apply to, but we didn't have any experience. So we were looking for a mentor and a consultant who would lead us through all the steps and help us to kind of set up for the application. So that's how we found Vytautas. And now Vytautas, you can introduce yourself.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you for invitation, and thank you for this opportunity to cooperate with Jonas and the whole team of AquaQLT. I really enjoyed this journey. So basically, what do I do? So I'm working in the business consultation company. Sėkmės sprendimai. It's the solutions of success, if we can translate the name. So what we do, we help startup companies and research spin-off groups to find some funding, to find some assistance, just to start moving their business and to commercializing their ideas. So what I really did enjoy working with the team, and we prepared a submission for local funding to get a sponsorship for that project. So the idea was successfully evaluated, and the contest is still ongoing. So we will keep supporting AquaQLT and help them to stand on their legs.
Thank you, Vytautas. And this, I'll just give a short also information from our side. So how we found Vytautas was through some recommendation. We were calling multiple experts because what we wanted is an expert who will kind of understand the technological side from our company and actually dive deep with us and understand our technology. And from the first discussion we had with Vytautas, we understood that this is a good match because he not only understands how to apply for the project, but he also understood the technological side of our shrimp tower technology. So we knew that we could trust him while creating our business plan for such project. And we basically established a clear kind of working schedule. We had weekly meetings where we would discuss what do we do from each side. Then we would meet the next week, discuss further things. And Vytautas really helped us to build sort of a completely new business plan specifically tailored for this project. And I'm happy because even for the next projects, now we can apply the same knowledge because we saw the kind of all the inside progress and process of how the application should be created and how you should tailor the business plan and what do the funding projects look at specifically, how to word everything and what documents do we need, because we saw that it's 10 to 15 documents. So we were kind of lost, but Vytautas helped us to kind of stay on the path. So yeah, I can definitely assure that it was a successful mentorship program, and thank you Vytautas, and of course thank you BBC Project for giving this opportunity.
That's great. Oh, thank you so much. And Vytautas, I imagine that you are actually also a mentor that would be available to others as well with similar kinds of challenges, perhaps in the future. Are you part of BlueBioMatch today, or have you registered on the site?
Yes, I'm registered in the system, so I'm available for the cooperation.
Oh, good to
I
hear.
will be happy to help.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Any quick key takeaway or piece of advice that you want to give us, Jonas? Do you think everyone should have a mentor?
Definitely, if you have a project, and I can tell you that they're quite hard to apply to, you need to know all the ins and outs. So if there's an opportunity, you should definitely search for a mentor. And a couple pieces of advice, maybe you should select a mentor who really not only knows how to apply for the project, but kind of understands what you're developing, because then it's way easier to work. And also what worked for us is having like a clear schedule, weekly meetings and setting clear goals, and that's why the project application went quite smooth.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jonas and Vytautas, and wonderful to hear such a great result. Let's go to the next mentor and mentee pair. And here we have a company, Clean Valley, who's looking to establish in Peniche, I believe, and Aqua Biotech Group. If you want to put on your cameras and open up your microphones, and I'll give you the floor to tell us a little bit about your mentor-mentee journey together. I think that's
Okay.
Nicola.
Yeah.
Any preference on who goes first?
No, well, you can begin, Nicholas. You're at the top there, Clean Valley.
Okay. Certainly. So I'm Nicholas Laval. I'm the founding CEO for Clean Valley. We've been active in Peniche for about 2.5 years, working with the aquaculture sector throughout Portugal. We primarily provide wastewater and discharge solutions that allow for the recirculation of that water and the growth of new co-products. We do this in a 20-foot shipping container that we call the algae biofilter, and this is provided as a hardware as a service. We attach them onto the end of whether it's an aquaculture or black soldier fly, really anything that has a high amount of nitrogen and phosphorus. We provide a technician who then maintains the solution on the behalf of the client, and the system not only grows new protein and fatty acids from the microalgae, but then we look into ways to valorize it. That is Clean Valley, and I'm happy to talk a little bit more about some of the other work we do throughout Portugal and the EU. But yeah,
Tell us about your mentor needs. How did you come in contact with and what type of mentor were you looking for? What challenges are being faced where mentorship could be was a game changer for you?
Okay, so mentorship needs, I think, would surround. We have two things we've been working on right now. One is a dashboard system, which uses all the data that we collect from our treatment. We provide this dashboard as a way to show in terms of regulatory compliance what the treatment levels are. And then on the other side, we have a back-end artificial intelligence that starts to predict what the treatment can be. What we're looking to get out of that is the generation of offset credits, because essentially the treatment that we're talking about reduces the amount of nitrogen and phosphorus that is within the water and taking it out and sequestering it. And so with a third-party verifier such as Carbon Assets or another group called Meridian DLT, we can actually sell those offset credits. So that's a fairly complex financial instrument called a futures. And we've gotten some mentorship on this in the past from a few mentors from BBA, and it's been wonderful in terms of understanding from either a venture capital side or a financial side what is required. And then also from the biology side, we've worked with a few mentors in terms of developing that. Beyond that, I think the other piece we would like to learn more about is regulatory legislation within the European Union surrounding co-products and the reuse of whether it's coming from a waste stream and then turning it into a microalgae and then feeding that to other animals. What are the current requirements and what are the current next steps in terms of the EU's legislation that can essentially empower and accelerate the utilization of integrated multi-trophic aquaculture. So where you have secondary waste streams that are being reused and approved for human consumption, whether that is through secondary animals like oysters or black soldier flies or rotifers or whatever it may be. So that's a.
Can I ask Nicholas, what was the interest of Aqua Biotech? Because they've been your mentor through the project. Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of competences that you were looking for and how was the match? Maybe Aqua Biotech Group, you could tell us what you were able to help Nicholas and his team with.
Simona, over to you.
I think your microphone's off. See. No, we still don't hear you.
Now?
Oh, now we hear you.
Okay, sorry. I don't use Zoom very often, so every time I had to select the right microphone and I couldn't pick the right one. Hello everyone. My name is Simona Paolacci and I am the head of the research and development department of Aqua Biotech. We are a consultancy company specialized in aquaculture and marine biology. However, I don't work as a consultant myself. I work as a researcher. I lead the research department. So we work a lot with European fundings, European projects. And I was contacted by actually Mariana initially because Nicholas contacted Mariana, I think. And I'm in my profile, I specify that my expertise is in integrating multi-trophic aquaculture. I worked for 12 years in Ireland and I developed and ran many integrated multi-trophic aquaculture systems before moving to Malta. And even in my present job, I design these kind of systems. So the specific system Nicholas was having some issues with, it was about aquaculture effluents used to grow microalgae, specifically some diatoms and the green microalgae. And then these microalgae are used to feed oysters. So basically, we have three trophic levels. And I just helped them to optimize the protocol, in particular for the microalgae, as for the oysters, it's not really my expertise. I help them with a bit of literature review to learn more about nutrition. So I try to give them some advice to fix small things like work at the right density, make sure that all the nutrients for the microalgae were there, and make sure that all that they were providing to the oysters was at least was covered the minimum nutrient requirement for the oysters. And I believe that, Nicholas, you correct me if I'm wrong, the main challenge of this collaboration is that unfortunately many of the advice that I gave them require a bit of a budget to improve the system. So I don't know how many have been actually implemented at this stage. So maybe Nicholas can tell us more about that.
Thank you, Simona. Yes, Nicholas, has this made a difference? Has the mentorship and the advices been able to be applied and you feel like it's helping you to overcome those challenges? Or is it still, yeah, it's a budget issue. You're waiting for other things to help?
Yeah, no, the advice was very helpful in terms of providing insights from Simona's background and her work with the Aqua Biotech Group. The implementation of it has been an ongoing process. Rather than trying to do everything at once, we've been iterating each piece step by step. The primary thing that we took away from Simona's report is water quality is a key factor in terms of the health and the well-being of these species. So ensuring that we have that cleaning process and those necessary pieces of equipment that are able to not only help us understand what's going on in there, but also help us maintain a healthy environment. So it was well received by our team members in Peniche, and they were able to implement some of them, and we're looking to implement some more throughout the year.
That's great. Great. Well, thank you so much, Nicholas and Simona, for sharing. And I know we're going to hear a little bit more in the pitch from you later in the session today, Nicholas. So thank you so much. I'll take the open up for the next group, also Ciencia and your mentors from Loyal. I guess you had two. I'm not sure if both are here today, but if you want to put your videos on and your microphones and tell us about your journey. It was a little bit different, a different company, a different challenge. So Ciencia and Loyal, welcome. You can maybe begin from the startup perspective.
Hi, hello. We organize things a little bit different, so I'm gonna give the word to Pedro, and then I'm gonna continue.
Cool.
Hello, Pedro.
Yeah, hello. So thanks for the time. It was a great experience working with Ciencia and specifically with Anna. I'm based in the Netherlands, and we basically followed on a remote process, and we were able to actually also meet on site. My expertise is basically solving complex projects. I focus on innovative startups and scale-ups, and since 2014, I'm a co-founder of a consulting company called Loyal Ecosystem. And basically, in this specific case, we help scientists usually to be more market-driven. And that's it, Anna. If you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. So, hi everybody. My name is Anna. I work in an aquaculture startup that you're gonna hear later in the pitch session. Basically, so just for you to know, and I don't want to spoil the presentation later, but basically we have a pilot system and now we are growing to a commercial phase. So we have a lot of problems related to growth matters. So we match perfectly with Loyal. We worked before with Loyal in another resolving another problems, different problems in several projects, and we work very well with Loyal because we have a very similar mindsets. We are both of us are open to learn from each other. As Pedro mentioned, we are researcher by nature in Scientia, so we have this mindset, but we are also open to creativity and these different kind of approaches. And Loyal is perfect in this because Loyal always presents a solution very tailor-made for us. They understand perfectly the business. They understand perfectly the people, working in Scientia. So yeah, it was perfect actually.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. Thank you, Anna. So from my side also, it was a great match. We had worked before, and that is relevant. Working with people with whom you already collaborate, it's difficult to plug in at the first experience. And second, this is very important for me, scientists that are open to collaborate with people that are non-scientists. I have an economics background, woo. And so it's very good to be complementary. And when that hits the point, it's you have above the average results, and that was what happened. Basically, we followed a straightforward approach with online meetings, and we focus on defining a specific positioning that you can use when you're on the commercial side or on the commercial phase. And sometimes it takes a lot of time to get there, and you don't anticipate enough. And our goal was to anticipate enough. Previously, we had defined the market positioning and also the value proposal. And so basically, we did the last phase to have the specific positioning. And then it was not a goal, but we went so fast that we started to build the structure for eventually a new brand or a new approach to the market in that sense. What we did different was after the online meetings, we did everything that we proposed ourselves to do, the positioning, and we found some time to be on site. We went from the Netherlands and we met in Portugal, and we did an on-site workshop at the beach. I don't know why the Blue Economy doesn't meet so often at the sea. Thank God I'm out of the industry. I made those guys go to the beach, and then we used their brain structure to visualize the future, and we used that to simplify the positioning in a way that the consumers understand. You know, most of you guys are scientists, engineers, and we added the simplicity by changing the location where we thought and discussed our problems that work well. And in the end, we got a new positioning, and that's it. So the learning from our side, basically follow the process, work with you, with whom you trust, but also change place when you can't.
Oh, this is great. I think that I'm going to take that as a real positive takeaway. It's true, actually, meeting up as mentor-mentee at the ocean side or in kind of the environment with your working can really be also inspire to good conversations and change and being open to. And wonderful to hear, Anna, that you also as scientists, I'll take this with me as well. I mean, we know that scientists and engineers work in a different mindset, and being open
completely
to entrepreneurial marketing kind of is so wonderful, because you can really see results from that. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
We'll be excited to hear more about the Scientia as a company soon.
Of course.
Discussion. So moving on to the next mentor-mentee group, we have actually a Mary Fish, who is, if I understood correctly, kind of an incubator, and Roots, almost a startup, but not quite a startup, but in an idea phase. So please, if you want to put on your cameras and microphones, it'd be great to hear from you how your mentorship process went and your journey together.
Okay, thank you. I will start. My name is Evie de Bruyker. I work for Marifish Inc. in Ostend in Belgium. We are an incubator for startups who are active in aquaculture and innovative fisheries. So we are an incubator in a niche sector. And I had the pleasure of being the mentor of Charles. Charles will present himself in a few minutes. But as an incubator, the thing that we specialize in is in doing the business coaching, because we have a lot of fantastic projects and initiatives in aquaculture or innovative fisheries, but we have a lot that stays in research phase. And the thing that we want to do is bring those projects into valorization. So looking how can research go into business, and how can a project evolve into a real startup, and that's the thing that we are active in. But I will now pass the words to Charles to present himself and to tell what we do in our mentor program, because also a bit different than the success stories that we already heard is that our offer of the incubator lays in individual coaching, but also in bringing collective or startups together. So we have a mentor program that goes in two ways, individual and collective. But now maybe some words from Charles.
Hello everyone. So I'm Charles. I currently work in Norway, in Bergen, in salmon aquaculture. But I'm also the almost co-founder or founder of the company Roots. And what we're currently doing is we're developing sensors to measure nutrients such as nitrates and phosphates and other nutrients as well, that will be incredibly cheap for the aquaculture industry, but also other industries. And this was actually a continuation of the thesis I did at the University of Ghent, and so it closely aligns to what Avi was saying, is that it's nice to bring research towards valorization. And so the problem is often is that for me is I always have, since I've been working in the aquaculture industry for a few years now, is you get all these ideas of what we want to develop, and as a scientist and as an engineer, it's very hard to know how to push forward. It's very hard to know, like, the economic sides. It's very hard to know how we should move forward, how we should move towards the market, how to do market analysis, how to make business plans and everything. So with this knowledge lacking, it's very hard to push towards the next step. And so that's how AV it's been coaching me for the past months, is to look how to develop the next step, how to move forward, how to think, how to make financial plans, and all these things. So that's been the current mentorship relation that I've been having with AV.
Right. Oh, thank you so much, Charles. Just a quick question. Are you already an established startup, or are you on the verge of sort of entering into a larger startup process now? I don't know. Where are you in your maturity as a company?
We're almost because Roots was founded as single-handed, so only me. But now I'm looking with a co-founder, and we're about to put the step towards actual real founding.
Wow. See, and that's so exciting too, to see how mentorship can maybe be that initiator. I'm sure there are a lot of people like yourself who are maybe in the more science realm, not really certain, maybe, can I do this business? Can I make it into a business? And mentorship could be that sort of initiator to say a little bit of extra support. And yes, this could really fly as a business case. How did you find, Evie? Just one last sort of takeaway with working with such an early stage company.
Yeah, I work already now for, let's say, almost 20 years in the field of business coaching for pre-startups, startups, and scale-ups, founded by the Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Belgium. And I met Charles through Jurgen of the BlueBioClusters, who is one of the partners in this story, at the BlueBioClusters Bootcamp. How beautiful can it be? And for me, it's a real pleasure to see that through the coaching, that you have the challenges of people also in how will I evolve as an entrepreneur, and then given some guidelines, some tools. We also did, for example, a co-founder checklist to see what are the extra competences that can be of help for Charles if he is looking for a co-founder, and then seeing that they are going from idea into real startup, that we have the evolution in a comfortable way for the entrepreneur. That of course makes me happy, and if you then see that it will becomes into a startup, then it's nice to see the evolution.
Wonderful. And I was just thinking, in terms of co-founders, are you engaged, Charles, on the BlueBio Match as well? Is that somewhere where you could maybe even start hunting for new co-founders and matchmaking opportunities?
Perhaps, yes. I already have a co-founder, but if it turns out to not work out, then perhaps I need to find an alternative.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and we're really excited to continue to follow the journey for all the companies here. We'll take our last mentor
Thank you.
the pair, and these are actually from West Sweden, of course. So they're close to my contact network. So Anna Hörling and Hans Alvaros from Startup Jungle, if you want to open your cameras and your microphones. And I'll open the floor for you to tell us about your mentorship journey.
Okay, so I'm Anna. I started out only in the autumn 2023 with collaborations with a scientist in Kristineberg who are working with the invasive oysters, Magellana gigas, and they are trying to find ways to use them after harvesting and taking them out of the sea. And they are looking for ways to use the meat, and they needed someone to take care of the shells. So we started this project, and I contacted a terrazzo company, and I started to work on the idea to make a basic material to use as a decorative and like a part of the material. And then I got into the BioClusters last June, and I met Hans afterwards. So you can take over.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think it was interesting to see how kind of a product. I was only thinking about the food in the oyster, so I think it was interesting to see the use of the actual shell as well. So I found it interesting, and I've been coaching a lot of. I'm coaching a lot of startups, and really like the idea that Anna came with, and of course my comment around it is that it's a really kind of a complex business. It requires a lot of logistics, a lot of partners, a lot of timing and waiting, and so it's we were kind of
we were meeting at the seaside.
Exactly. So I hope
and it was really helpful to understand the size of my project, because I was a little bit naive, thinking how hard can this be? I just gather some shells and then I clean them and crush them and put them in the cement. But it turned out to be a very big project, and I keep contact with the marine scientists, but things are progressing very slowly. But the aim is still to make something like a wild gathered oyster material that we can use, like a Swedish terrazzo. I don't know. But it's this realizing the size of it was really mind-blowing for me, because I felt so stressed out of not getting things done. I felt like I didn't. And then Hans introduced the Kanban, so I could see what I actually did. And that was also very good for me to realize that I actually did try to put things make things move forward, but sometimes I have to wait for answers like 3 months, or I just received an answer today that was really good, but I asked in the end of February. So
right. So yeah, Hans, I mean, this is a very early stage idea too, and trying to be the mentor to coach. What kinds of things came up in your journey that you think would be great takeaways for other startups that are also in an early, even scientists who are with their early concepts and trying to think, imagine, can I make a company of this?
Yeah, perhaps a boring answer, but I guess that patience is quite important to not be so stressed, because most of the blue ideas are they're including a lot of kind of hardware, software, logistics, fundings, partnerships. It's not an idea that you can kind of code something and release it in an app store and hope for the best or wherever. It's a very, I guess that the project grows quite large, so it needs patience and also
yeah, to scale it up
time.
from like craft, because you can do it as craft. It's an easy thing to do, but if you wanted to make an impact, to be something good for the environment in the future, you need to scale it up, and you cannot go like, you can go into the woods and get some wood and you can use it, but you really need, it's harder to get things out of the ocean and take them away when they are in the wrong place. So
Yeah.
it takes time consuming, really.
And I know both of you, or I should say, Hans, you're on BlueBioMatch as well. I'm thinking about the kind of competences similar to Avi, this idea of trying to support these young, up and coming potential startups. I'm so happy to hear that both of you are on the platform, because it is definitely a group of blue entrepreneurs we want to boost so they can come with their ideas to the market and do something amazing. Any last key takeaways from Anna or Hans before we finish this session?
From us.
Yeah. Any last?
Yeah, I think it's really important to get someone to talk to that has the knowledge about having a company and how you need to think, because I'm not from that kind of. I'm an industrial designer. I'm used to thinking out of the box, but I'm not really used to use it for my own product development, and not for the business development, but for other people's product developments. So It's been really good, very helpful.
Yeah. Yes, and as Mariana even told us with the results of this entire mentorship, a lot of people really needed support in the business development aspect. So a mentorship with that kind of background is really valuable for all of the blue companies. Great. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing these stories. And it's just fun to kind of hear everyone's stories very different, because every product is different and every entrepreneur is different. We're going to actually give you about a 5-minute stretch of your legs, and if you need to grab another cup of coffee, because we will soon go into the next session where we're going to be listening to some startup pitches and engaging in a dialogue with some of the other people here today, investors, funders, and other mentors that are present with us. So if you want to take up your camera and just take a quick moment, take a stretch, or go get coffee, water, do that now, and we will gather here again at 3. So a short 5-minute break. So welcome back, everybody, to now what we'll do is have a startup pitch session. And this, we're hoping, is one of the highlights of today's program, because we're, of course, giving the chance for some of our promising Blue Bio startups to give a really short pitch, sharing who they are, what they're doing, and also how you might be able to help them to grow. So we've kind of organized this pitch session according to a structure that each company gets only 3 minutes. It's a very short pitch time. Where they give a quick company overview, giving the basics of their company, what they're offering, or a target group. They're going to give us a chance to understand a bit more about maybe a development challenge or an opportunity that they're pursuing or chasing. And then, of course, what this session really is about, too, is understanding different development needs and seeing how can we as a community step in and help. Do we have contacts? We have some funders and experts here with us today. Perhaps there are ways we can see where we can provide support. And the goal is to, help basically spark connections. That's why this is only a very short pitching event. So if you're right after each pitch, we're hoping to open the floor just for a quick round of feedback. So if you have a question or a thought, or you just want to say, hey, I want to connect, you can even just drop it into the chat. So we're trying to keep this a bit short, helpful, positive, and making sure that everyone gets a chance to shine. So we're going to dive in, and I'm going to welcome our first startup, and this will be Zeni. So if you are on, you can put your camera and microphone on.
Yeah, normally everything is okay.
Great. And yeah, I mean, I'm in control of the switching the slides, so just please let me know when you want to switch slides.
Yes, that's very nice. And just first of all, thank you for this opportunity. And I'm really, really happy because among the startup, well, quite a lot of things around algae, more sustainable aquaculture. So I'm very, very happy because it will create probably a very interesting interaction. So super happy. So let's go.
Yes, thank you. I'll take your next slide.
Yeah. Well, maybe the first one, just to introduce myself, I'm the CEO of Zeni. Zeni, it's for zero nitrate, and we are actually tackling this issue of water quality, especially in the food industry and a bit of aquaculture. So very happy to be in contact a bit later with Clean Valley, QLT, and so on. So yeah, here we are. We can jump into the second slide. And we provide a specific system, a tank with light inside that can be plugged directly in industry. So I talk about this food industry. We have attempt 10 times in different effluent from the food industry, from brewery to dairy industry, crepe, and many other industry that have a really issue with wastewater treatment and the reuse of the water. And as it has been talked about a bit earlier, it is possible to reuse also the biomass of algae. So that's a totally circular system that we provide. Yeah, next slide, please. Just an example of what we have already performed was in the brewery industry. And that's really the point is that we provide to our industrial clients an opportunity to at least getting the standards for discharge into the natural environment. But we want to go further. It means that we are able, if we add a sterilization system, to reuse the water into the industrial process, especially for the cleaning process. So we can save a lot of water, and we can operate from from 1 to 100 cubic meter per day. Next slide, please. About the continued needs for development as it is required for this presentation, just already upstream, and that's why it is interesting also to be connected with others that can have a microalgae to share. We need to push that to have both at the European level some better regulatory context to value our algae in this wastewater system. We look for grant from the EU to push the early adopter of our solution. We have in France the water agency that can offer some grant to help industry using our system. So it will be really favorable if the EU push that also, because it's really a big matter. And downstream, I mean, this is the same issue. We need to have encouragement from the EU to encourage the solution, because in agriculture, for example, this is also a big impact that can be proposed because our microalgae can restore the soil and make a more sustainable agriculture. Next slide on the end, of course, please.
Oopsie, sorry. That's the last slide.
So that's the last one. And just to say that we are actually running our first fundraising, so we are in seed funding, and I will be very happy to have a discussion with investor later on. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jean-Michel. Just to open up, are there any questions for Jean-Michel on his idea or on some of the challenges presented, or do you have any tips or contacts that you think might be useful? Please open your mic and you're welcome to ask questions or give tips or ideas. And I'll ask my colleagues who are also watching the chat if there are anything coming up.
I can ask a question.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah. Hi, Jean-Michel. Thank you for your presentation. Can you repeat the amount of water you can treat per day, please? Or this is...
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can go up to 100 cubic meter per day.
Okay. Okay.
Well, this is the average. We can go further, but basically, we target this kind of SME and bigger company that have this kind of range of water, and it's 80% used in the food industry for cleaning processes. So it's really, really relevant to have such a system to propose the reuse of water in a total circular way. And it is in a decarbonation also idea, because as you know, microalgae are plants, so there is a process that is definitely favorable for on a CO2 point of view.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're
Great.
very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation, and thanks, Anna, for your question. And if you come up with anything else, people who are, of course, in the group today listening, if there's something that catches your mind, please add it to the chat, and that could be a possible contact or comment that might be able to help Jean-Michel. We'll go to our
Fantastic.
next.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. We'll go to the next company or the next project. This is Anna Hurling. Your presentation, if you want to give us a few minutes to learn more about your oyster project and what challenges you're looking still or opportunities that you're chasing.
Yeah, my goal is, as I said before, to take these oyster shells. From the beginning, I actually found them on the beach nearby our house, and realized when we were taking down parts from the house that shells had been used in the early 19th century for the material, and I read that it's also been used like by the Romans, and so it's a really old material. Still, it has not been used in the size that I did, so you can change slide to the next where you can see the picture. So this is how I crushed them and put them into a terrazzo with Herrljunga Terrazzo, a Swedish company up coast. And the main challenge I have is to actually get my hands of the material, because I'm doing it together with the scientists, and a lot of the invasive oysters are placed in the waters that are protected, so they need to be taken out quite carefully, but they need to be taken out. So and also that's I don't know really how much it will cost, and so things are that kind of things is a bit challenging, but the opportunities is that I showed it to some architects, and it was exhibited in Stockholm Furniture Fair last January, and then it went to the museum in Gothenburg, and also was shown during the Paris Design Week last autumn. And I got a lot of positive responses for it. But the normal base to make a terrazzo is quite heavy on the environmental. So I'm trying to find the concrete to make a new base to blend. And I recently realized that there are at least 2 companies really working hard on recycled cement. So this is a really good opportunity to make a sustainable product. And the answer I just got was that I'm going to get some material to test in a few weeks. But during this really frustrating times that I had since October, I started to develop actually a lampshade instead for 3D printing with oyster shells in it. So I have a piece of material here. I don't know if you can see me, but this is the material. So, and it's a PLA, which is a starch. And with the oyster shells, it becomes very, very durable. And so this is what I'm trying to do on the same time, just to keep me uplifted through the waiting process, waiting for the harvesting, because it's going to be done in the winter time, and waiting for the drying and cleaning and all this process that takes a lot of time.
Wonderful.
But
thanks to hear so much about this. And yeah, this is actually interesting. You're quite looking for opportunities, I understand, in contacts maybe with people who do types of sorting and cleaning.
Yes.
And with oyster shells. So if anyone has any tips or ideas or contacts, please share them in the chat for Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. I can't see if there are any hands up, but I'll ask if my other co-hosts see any hands up. You can help me to also if there's anyone who wants to give feedback. But we'll move to the next one. And this company is Mari. So if you are on the chat, or I should say with your screen and your microphone, you can put them on and give us some more information about this company.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce Mari, a young SME project based in Brittany, France. Next slide, please. Mari works on the development of seaweed strains biobanks from wild or cultivated seaweeds resources. And the aim is to propose a large panel of species and selected traits according to local genetic diversity around farms and needs in terms of performances in cultivation and quality of their properties for industry like food, feed, cosmetics, etc. Our expertise in molecular biology and genetics allow us to develop for each strain some genetic markers related to their geographical origin, and then we propose strong tools for traceability. Next, please. Our main challenges are first to develop a larger biobank by adding new high-value species that are not already cultivated, and second, to develop specific genetic markers in order to propose a strong new way to guarantee traceability all along the value chain. This implies to work in synergy with the academics for basic research on the life cycle of these new species and with industries to target the needs of tomorrow. For sure, this cannot be without international collaborations with other biobanks or actors at the seaweed sector. And another valuable challenge for us and for such a biobank is the opportunity to participate to restoration programs where the marine habitat is degraded. Next, please. And to reach these challenges, Mari needs first to invest in its own technical facilities within the coming 5 years, because we are hosted in the marine station of Roscoff. And we will need our own facilities. And second, we need to keep a continuous and sustainable link with the industry in order to stay one step forward the evolution of the market and the climate changes. And last one, please. Thank you so much. So my name is Bertrand Jacquemin. I should start by that. And I am the co-founder with my colleague Emeline Kreis of Mari, Macroalgae Aquaculture Research and Innovation. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Bertrand. And yeah, I'd like to open up the floor because this is a really interesting area. Perhaps there's others who want to comment or have some ideas to overcome some of these challenges. So I'll open up the floor to any feedback or questions. anyone has. Okay. And yeah, I'm just thinking a lot of this is so interesting too. I know you are also involved with the BlueBioCluster, our Podemar in Brittany. So, I mean, this is also a great place for contacts within the French context. Are there some other countries or other types of specific contacts that you're looking for that maybe we could put out there right now? Are there other countries that you see that you would like to come in contact with? That are working in this area. I'm not sure, Bertrand, if there's anything specifically that you're thinking already you'd like to come into contact with.
We have some contacts in the Europe, Korea, South Korea, but the larger we will spread this network, the better it will. So we really enjoy work with all the good people who want to develop the sustainable seaweed sector, because the objectives of the European Commission are very ambitious, and we need to work all together to make the roots of the sector very strong in order to help Europe to develop this sector.
Yeah.
Because to date, all the sector depend only on the wild resources, and it's not sustainable for the sector.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very good point. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah, and we'll go to the next pitching company, which is a Swedish company with a product called See. If we have Christian Magnusson, if you want to put your camera on and your microphone.
Yeah, I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, as Sonia mentioned, my name is Christian Magnusson, and I work with See, an innovation to reduce the ghost fishing, which actually still is a very large problem, despite many attempts to solve this problem. So we've been working for a few years, I think 5 years or something, with the development, but now it's starting up actually to launch this system to the fishermen. So we developed this just to combat ghost fishing and for the fishermen to retrieve the gear, because most or lots of gear is lost, as you may know. You can switch slides, Sonia, if you like. So this is a solution that actually is very different from previous attempts. We have received patent now in the US as well, and still we see more countries coming with approval, so it's a broad patent. And we think that this solution is an innovation very, very different, since it has no buoyancy to the gear. And the problem with the gear loss is often that they get too buoyant with those solutions trying to prevent ghost fishing, so they float away and get lost anyway. So, but it's an estimate that 10% of the fishing gear is lost, and it continues to catch fish, those gears. So we are now developed the solution, and maybe you can change to next slide now, Sonia, and see to be attached directly to any type of gear actually, but of course mainly passive fishing gear that are left in the ocean unsupervised. So if you put the gear or the equipment you might lost in the ocean, a timer starts, and if you don't take it up within the set time, a buoy actually rises to the surface and marks the gear. And it's also visible nighttime, which is a big problem in Nordic countries anyway, when fishing during winter season, that you don't see the buoys actually, so it flashes during nighttime. And then you have a line connected to the gear, and you can pull it up, and you can also pull very heavy gear up, since you can guide down on this line and lift the links of gear. So now we have production going, but we are still looking for investors and companies to cooperate with to get this spread all over the world. We think the market is very huge. We've done a lot of research on that. We think that it will be slow in the start, of course, because it's not easy to change all fishermen to use this system. But we think there is also funding opportunities from governments and things like that to prevent this instead of going and take the gear up afterwards, which is a more bigger hassle. So this is in general CME, and it's great to be part of this cluster and see all the efforts put into ocean and healthier oceans. So please feel free to reach out if you have connections or any tips on partners or investors and things like that to take this further. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I know, Christian, of course, your mentor isn't maybe with us today, but that was a lot of the work that you did with your mentor, was looking for ways to get sort of to better contacts with organizations and companies that could be part of this greater launch phase that you're in. So yeah, opening up to the floor here, if anyone has any questions or comments.
Just a quick question. Christian, thanks for this. Do you know if there's a regulation in Europe or any in a different region where it is, one, mandatory to have the traceability of the fisherman tools, and two, who is responsible? Is there a legal responsibility of the fishermen for leaving the things?
Actually, it's coming more and more for fishermen that there has to retrieve the gear that is actually lost, and marking of gear is also coming in now into to be put on the gear, so they mark them and they have to take them off if they lose them. But it's very hard actually to find those traps afterwards, and we need to do something preventive. And this is the solution for that. So we think there will be regulations in many more countries the fishermen have to collect it, but it's actually not so easy when it's lost. So a preventive way we think is more effective, and it also brings benefits to the fisherman because he gets the catch back as well. So if he gets the lobster up and the cage up, he also can have his money back and not lose the fishing time.
But this is a very interesting, and even in the preventive side, it can be interesting to push, especially EU policy. And you guys, if you lead the category, then of course it's interesting.
And we work with the communities and organizations, and we think if this is getting out to the market first, it can be regulated as well. So, but the system needs to be existing before the regulations come. So administrations are very positive to this, but it also needs to be shown in the market before they can regulate it. So.
Great. Thank you so much, Christian. And thanks for your question, Pedro. We'll go to the next company, Scientia. And Anna, if you want to put your camera and your microphone on, please.
Yeah. Hi again. My name is Anna again, and I'm here to represent Scientia. We are a startup focused on producing curvina using recirculating aquaculture systems. Because this is the first time done worldwide, we first built a pilot system to prove our concept. We've been operating this system for the last 4 years, backed with a lot of scientific research, and because we had a very good results, we now secured 16 million in funding to build our first commercial facility. Our target market is high-end restaurants and fish distributors, and we already have a lot of clients interested. You can change it, Sonia, please. Okay, thank you. So the challenge that we presented in the bootcamp and that we've been working with Loyal is also connected a little bit to consumer valuation. Especially here in Portugal, the consumer has a lack of trust in aquaculture products. Usually, people when go to the supermarket, they don't choose based on quality; they choose based on price. And also, population doesn't have a lot of information regarding the certification and the labels of the products. So we thought, okay, if we build a strong brand, if we do this strategic brand trust development, we can tackle some of this challenge. of course, we work with this with Loyal, but this open a lot of doors of work to be done in the future. You can change it, Sonia. Okay. Current development focus. Well, I choose these three. We are focused in resolving a lot of challenge that we are facing in this phase. One of these is this total transition to green energy. I know this can sound a little bit of ambitious, but we strongly believe this is the way to go. So we want that our farm to be completely green. This is very important because we consume a lot of energy, of course, with this type of systems. We also want to fully use our waste and byproduct of fish. This is always a little bit ambitious, but this is the way that we want to go, and we are fully determined to operate this way. And another thing is that we want our product to be fully traceable. We want the people when are eating our fish, they know exactly all the information since the hatch until their plate. But for this to work, we need to ensure that all the value chain post-production adopt this kind of practices to ensure this traceability. And this is a huge challenge, at least now in Portugal. We are always open to new partnerships regarding to resolve this kind of challenge and others. We are open to new challenges, of course. And honestly, that's how we've been working until now. We work with several different groups of people with different backgrounds from different areas, and we believe this is the way to go. So yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Anna. I'll open up the floor to any questions or comments.
Ooh, question.
Yeah, hi, Nick.
Hi, Anna, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too.
The problem statement about consumer trust for aquaculture and creating a strong brand around what you guys are doing, the sustainability side of it, it's a very powerful one. It's also a very tricky one. So I'm curious, what were the recommendations that Loyal may have had in terms of bridging that strength? Like, is it evidence-based data? Is it certifications? Is it marketing in terms of getting your message out there?
I know it's complex, but includes all of that. We want a full approach. We want that people have access to all the information. This is also our culture. We have, as you know, we have our doors open so that the community can come in, can visit, can start trusting the process. And this is only possible if we are fully transparent and if we start to, how can I say, here in Portugal at least, aquacultures usually aren't with their doors open, and this is the first mistake. Okay, so if I want people to start to trust aquaculture, I need to have my doors open. I need to inform people because, of course, not everybody has the same background as me. I'm a marine biologist. Of course, I know what I'm doing. I'm backed with science, but people don't know that. So, of course, I want to inform people. And also, besides of informing people on how we do things, we also want people that provide them the choice. Okay, you can choose this product, and this is the information that you have for this product. So the choice is yours, but you can choose this product that you have all the information, food security related matters, everything, or you can choose another one. It's of your choice, of course. The price, yeah, of course. The price we are offering added value product. Of course, our price is going to be a little bit higher, but this is also a thing that we are studying in our market studies. That okay, if the consumer and if the chefs that are going to buy our product or the fish distributors are willing to pay more for this sustainable product, for this traceable product? And the answer is yes, they are totally willing to do that. So
yeah, I've heard from our research on the subject, green premiums around, either sustainability certifications or even just having more sustainable operations can range anywhere from like 10% up to 35%. Is that some of the responses that you guys are hearing, or are you kind of looking at it from a different angle?
we didn't reach that specific percentage. We know they are willing to pay more. This is a study that we are still doing regarding how much. This was your question, right? How much they are willing to pay more, right?
Yeah, willing to pay.
Yeah,
what
of
those
course.
metrics are looking
Yeah,
like.
this is because we are only starting to sell our fish in 3 or 4 years from now. So this is the thing that we are still studying, of course. We know that they are willing to pay more, but I cannot give you the exact percentage of how much, of course.
We'll have to continue that discussion perhaps in the next, you can join up after this meeting.
Yeah, of
so
course.
exciting, because I'm sure there's actually a lot more people interested in that discussion as well. And maybe we can find you on Blue Bio Match. We're going to have to go along to the next presenter to move along. And we have our next pitch with Fish and Greens. If you want to turn on your camera and your microphone and move along into that pitch, you're welcome.
Thank you, Sonia. So I'm João Cotter. So before we start, let me ask you a quick question, rhetoric question, of course. How often do you think about where your food comes from? So for me, it all started with my family. So I wanted to be sure we were eating food that was fresh, healthy, and truly local. But as I dug deeper into the food system, I realized something was broken. Long supply chains, heavy resource waste, low trust and transparency, prioritization on scale over quality. And that's where Fish and Greens comes in. We're building modular urban aquaponics farms, producing fresh fish and vegetables right where they are consumed. Next slide, please, Sonia. So our technology is powered by Streams, our solid waste integrated management system, a next generation approach that solves the scaling and sustainability issues of traditional aquaponics. We combine aquaculture and hydroponics in a closed loop system that uses 90% less water, eliminates synthetic inputs, minimizes emissions, ensures food safety and high productivity. And we've secured Europe's only broodstock of jade perch, an extremely sustainable fish species, rich in omega-3, fed with plant-based feeds, and already validated through years of R&D. Next slide, please. So we're launching our first unit near Lisbon, supplying local retailers, restaurants, and schools. Through our partnership with the municipality, we'll reach over 12,000 students, building trust with families and scaling through education and experience. From there, we replicate. Our modular farms are scalable across Europe, and our franchising model will grow a network of decentralized farms, managed through a centralized data platform. This is not just a prototype, it's a business. We're projecting 5.4 million euros in revenues per year from the first unit, 3-year payback, 41% ROI. And we've been recognized by the Portuguese Innovation Agency for our work in food, water, and environmental sustainability. Now we're raising 6 million to fund our first large-scale commercial unit, covering infrastructure, technology, deployment, team expansion, and operational costs for the first 15 months. With the right team, the right market, and a validated technology, Fish and Greens is ready to lead the shift to a fresh, local, and sustainable food future. Will you join us? Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Very nice pitch and presentation, and interesting. And I know we're kind of running out of time, so if there's any quick questions that anybody has, maybe we can actually put them into the chat, because we would like to get moving on towards the investor dialogue as well, so we get a chance to talk specifically about that. Great. Okay. I'm going to move along. I apologize. Time is running so quickly in this session, and we'll have, of course, time to look more at dialogue with the investors shortly. If I take the last company on our list, Clean Valley, if you would like to come on board here, Nicholas, and give us a presentation from Clean Valley.
Happy to. And thanks, Sonia. Appreciate the intro. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Last but certainly not least, Clean Valley is a startup based in Nova Scotia, Canada. We focus on ag tech, wastewater remediation, and we're a clean tech company that has been around since 2019, working in the sector. Next slide, please. An overview of what we do is we like to containerize wastewater solutions. In a 20-foot shipping container, we're able to take in nitrogen and phosphorus-rich wastewater. The volumes are essentially limitless as we use a modular design to our system. So as we get more wastewater, we just add an additional module for that treatment. The wastewater comes in to our biofilter. There are two steps, a microalgae reactor, which converts that nitrogen and phosphorus into lipids that the microalgae is essentially grown. And from there, it's fed into an oyster reactor or into a secondary trophic species. In most saltwater settings, we're working with oysters, mussels, clams. You can use really any bivalve. In freshwater, we're working with black soldier flies as they are able to eat pretty much about anything. We had a recent test with a group called Entogreen that was rather successful, showing that the algae was a net benefit. The carbon sequestration that happens here is essentially, rather than that wastewater going down the drain to be either treated at a facility, dumped into an ecosystem, or sent away in some other form or fashion, we are reusing it the same way the oceans, the lakes, and the rivers do. So by cleaning that water, we are essentially creating a delta between what could have been dumped to what is now being reused. And that's where the offset credits that we generate comes from. We've been able to get those verified and have sold about 10 megatons worth of CO2 equivalent credits. That's part of the value offer, but for the clients that we work with, we provide this all in a nice, neat package under a hardware as a service, where the technology and the technician is provided at a much more smaller monthly incremental fee. Next slide, please. So that all leads into our vision, where we're looking to provide this as a solution to any agricultural wastewater solution so that our oceans can remain as clean as possible, so they can actually do the bulk of the work in fighting climate change, and industry and agriculture, essentially for producing the stuff we need, for producing the food we need to eat. It's not creating any further damage to the environment. Last slide, I think.
I think that was your last slide. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you all for listening. Just a quick little shout out. We did do a white paper on willingness to pay. So anyone who is interested from the aquaculture sector on seeing the increases you can garner from being more sustainable or having more sustainable practice, we spent about a year kind of bringing this all together, and happy to share it for anyone who's interested. I'll put my email in the chat. Feel free to reach out if you're curious. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Nicholas. And yeah, we heard a little bit about your story as well. You're both from Canada, but you're establishing in Peniche with this concept. And so it being kind of the European base as well to develop. And yeah, all the contacts here hopefully can provide some kind of more European contact bases that you might be looking for moving forward. So thank you.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
And so I think we're just going to move quickly into the next part, because we really want to start to hear a little bit more from the investors and funders and even other mentors that are with us. So thank you, everybody, all the startups, for those of you doing your pitches here today, really inspiring. So we're just going to shift gears now and invite you, the investors and mentors and funders that are attending for this session today to join the discussion, because, of course, it's so interesting, the perspectives. And we have a really great group here with us today, a mix of both. These are investors. Some of them are coming from more public financing institutions, also from science parks. But now's the perfect time to start to hear your thoughts and maybe dive into a more guided conversation where we can all learn more from those perspectives. So Your insights are golden, and what we're going to do here is I'm going to lead some questions, and I'm going to first ask those participating who are in the role of investor, funder, or business support. Maybe I'm targeting you with these questions, but of course, everyone's has the ability to answer or to contribute. So as we begin, I'm going to pose one question at a time. And if you want to speak, raise your hand. I will ask my co-hosts to help me see all those hands coming up. And of course, if you prefer to write, just feel free to drop your comments into the chat. Again, I see the chat is going really well today, so hopefully there's some interesting conversations we can pick up on after today's session. So going right into some interesting questions that I want to get interactive about. Investors, mentors, and funders, if we look at the pitches that you've seen here today and your contact with the BlueBioClusters program, maybe you can give us a bit of an idea of your impressions and some key takeaways that you see about this BlueBio startup growth journey. So I'm going to open up for you, and please raise your hand and we'll give you the floor. Let's see if my co-hosts can help me if you see a hand being raised. Maybe I can direct a question directly to Baltic Sandbox, one of our investor financiers here today. Sorry, I can't see on the screen. Okay, do we have any other persons who would like to comment? What do we see actually happening here? For some key takeaways from the BlueBio startup growth journey. Are there members from the Norwegian Møre and Romsdal, being a public financer?
Yeah, hello, Martin also from Romsdal County. Mainly just interesting to see the pitches. We as for our county, we are looking forward to our funding pre-projects through our region. So mainly interest today is to see that it's a lot of interesting cases around Europe. So that's maybe my comment.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. And I know there's one actually investor, I think, that did not make it onto my previous slide, Lita. I know there are 3 persons coming from an impact investment. Perhaps you'd like to give us some of your impressions. Okay. Sorry, I can't see any hands up, but I'll then put it out to the rest of the group as well. Anyone participating, what do you see in terms of a trend? What are some of the impressions and key takeaways that we're seeing from these BlueBio startup growth journeys? Okay, I will.
If I can say something, Tanya?
Yes, thank you, Maria.
It's clear that we have different stages in the development of this startup. So something that I've been seeing is that it's very important to adapt the communication to the different phases, to the different stage where you are. Because sometimes you are looking for funding, sometimes you are looking to market fit, sometimes you are looking for other stakeholders and partners to involve in a commercial strategy. So the communication is also very important to adapt, so not to be fixed in just one moment in time, and you must be agile as well in terms of communication. Because in terms of funding, when you pitch for an investor, you need to tackle the specific points that they want to hear and they want to know about your business. So it was very interesting for me to see different kind of pitches that companies, and I see some difference between the first pitches of some companies that I know that have been with us in the project. So it's very good to see that they are quite using an agile approach also for communicating their businesses. So it's a first impression.
Okay. Great. Maybe what I'll do is actually just to encourage a bit more of a conversation, I'll actually stop sharing my slides and we'll just put the questions right into the chat. So let's see here if we, moving on. I'm just going to take the next question here. Well, let's talk then about some of the investors that might be present with us today. If we think about your experience, what kind of advice do you think? And even this is for mentors. I mean, a lot of mentors that have been in the program have been providing different advice to these startups and scale-ups. What are some really critical things you want to convey to help them avoid some of the most common mistakes when they're looking for financing or just support? What are things you need to ensure that as a startup in the Blue Bio community, what might be some tips or ideas to avoid common mistakes? And let's see here. I'm just if you can. I can't see any hands up. I don't know if anyone wants to share.
There was also a comment in the chat by Jean-Michel actually about the role that investment has to support startups.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you for your comment. And yeah, as you mentioned, investment is that key step for startups. And there's always an issue with those first, perhaps hundreds of thousands of euro that are needed to get going. And sometimes the blue bioeconomy tends to be seen from an investor perspective as being quite risky. I can actually speak for myself here. We did most recently a study with a couple of Nordic investment communities through Nordic Innovation. And one of the things that has come up when we have surveyed investors about the blue economy and are you investing in the blue economy? Would you invest in the blue economy? Many, exactly as you mentioned here, say that they feel it's a very high risk area and they're also not very knowledgeable about this area. The blue bioeconomy especially is very new. And so there's a lot of education and communication that needs to be done and to help our investors understand better the landscape and understand more about the cases. So that's just from my perspective. I'm not sure anyone else would like to share.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Now, I follow you, Sonia, and from our perspective, working also with an incubator and doing advice for companies within this scale-up journey, we see a lot of times that the investors are asking really hard questions, of course, and the complexity within the blue bioeconomy is quite overwhelming, I would say, for a lot of these companies trying to get their ideas to fly. So yeah, so I loved hearing Anna about your feeling here and this this taking in all this complexity and how you now are trying to build up the confidence in and being patient and growing this idea to a more industrial scale. And because most investors, of course, they are looking for the scaling opportunities and they want to be quite sure that it is really doable to make this in an industrial scale. So this gap between the idea and the industrial scale opportunities are sometimes really large. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. I see that Simona has put up, let's see, Hal Cotter from Aquaponics, Iberia, if you want to amend, your hand is up.
Yes, I would like to, it's more a comment than a question, but anyway, I would like some comments from present investors. So we have been here quite for a while with this Fishing Greens project. So this is something that is being developed since 2012. So it's not something new. It's still we are still raising funding for the first commercial unit. So it says a lot about the difficulties we have been having to find the right investor. So when we go to talk with investors, what we find is that most of them are looking not for to invest in really blue economy. So in our case in food, in food production, in sustainable food production in an innovative way. They are looking to invest in specific technologies. So they are mostly looking to invest in IT and not in blue economy. Of course, there are companies that were doing very interesting and innovative technologies in IT for blue economy, but I don't consider it as pure blue economy. So in our case, we use technologies. We gather a set of a lot of technologies to make our production system work and be much more sustainable. But this doesn't seem to be the most, for now, most interesting for investors. Quite amazing. So we'll keep being resilient and trying to find the suitable investors for our project.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I think that probably many people would agree that it is a challenge as, again, investors aren't necessarily knowledgeable about this sector. They don't understand. They understand better the risks. I think Hans Alvaros from Sweden, you mentioned also people with apps. I mean, there's a quick, like you build an app and you send it out there and the time of return of your investment is quite quick. And these might be more infrastructure, might be more hardware based, et cetera. So there is a challenge. And Pedro, thank you. Be patient. That's a good, but don't do waiting. Create additional market-driven revenue streams. Those secondary revenue streams make a point to investors. So this is a great point as well. And I'm hoping that also through this session today, this is just a kickstart of some more discussions. And going to Blue Bio Match, we're hoping that that's where we can actually have some more deep dives and more discussions and find each other. And find also other investors on that platform that we can have a dialogue with, or people who understand investment. I'll just take the last question that I had on my list, and it is a little bit interesting because we are in a special time. If you're able to post the last question there for me, Sylvia. It's a little bit about what we see in terms of the perspective on investment with the current situation. If we look at kind of the blue bioeconomy, we see the important, as someone mentioned earlier, the EU is putting a lot of effort and very ambitious targets for the seaweed market, etc. But if we look at the level of investment, there's a bit of a gap. High ambitions, but there's a gap. And for investors that might be with us today, and I'm just trying to see in the list who is here.
And I see also two people have raised their hands, so maybe they have some answers also.
Good, thank you. I can't see that, so please let me know. Let's see if there's a hand raised, but the question I just wanted to put out there as well is how do we see that this private investment evolving in the coming years, given these global trends? We know that there are some interesting drivers actually that could drive more investment. Let's see, a hand up, if you can tell me who has their hand up.
Bertrand has his hands up.
Yeah, Bertrand, if you want to.
Yes, thank you. Just one more comment about the question raised by Jean-Michel. I think one good indicator which explains partially the risk from investors to put money in the blue economy is the very low TRL for many projects. So especially in seaweed sector, because many projects are between 1 and 4, 5, but it's only about basic research or proof of concept. So it's very a bad point for investors because they don't know where the sector is.
That's a really good point. Yeah. Thank you for those insights, because it's true, as you say, many people are still working in early stage. We haven't got all the answers yet, and we need more prototyping, testing, demonstration to really prove the ideas for investors so that they see, yes, this is a robust idea. I'm prepared to invest. We're running out of time, I see, and this has been so interesting. I wish that we could continue the conversation a lot more, and I'm hoping this is where actually after today, we will continue the conversation more, but then again, through other channels. I'm just going to share my screen super briefly here as a way of coming back around to where do we see that we could actually find each other after this conversation today. And I'm just going to, sorry, hopefully you can see my screen there. Oh no, just a moment. Sorry, time is going quickly.
Sylvia can also share his screen, it's fine.
Yeah, I just wanted to share again the idea that we entered into this conversation with, that Blue Biomatch has become this platform to find other blue bioeconomy actors and build a community specifically for companies, experts, researchers. And I think this is where, from our project perspective, we really want to channel in, because if we can all find each other on one platform, it becomes much easier to continue conversations, deep dive, and find even network outside of ourselves and our smaller network of maybe local contacts. So just wrapping up for today, I want to encourage everybody to, of course, go to our project website, where we have in fact published a lot of tools. We have some outcomes and results, and you can follow us even on LinkedIn. Our project is completely core, central is companies and SMEs like yourselves. So we hope that that can be relevant resources we're providing. If you haven't already been on Blue Biomatch, then this is your moment. You need to get on there to stay up to date and stay into the conversation with all of us. And to find each other. The chat has been wonderful. We've really got some great input, some contacts being made. And this, of course, will be part of the materials that we also will send out after today's bootcamp session. And of course, you who today are with us who have products, this is also a platform for you to actually showcase those products. And if we think about investors finding us, if we think about contacts to investors finding us, this is also another channel where you can post and provide. It's a bit of a marketing space really for specifically blue bio solutions. So we really want you to take that opportunity as this platform is growing. It's approaching 1,000 users and more, and there are many other projects that are trying to channel their contacts into that platform. For us, through the BlueBioClusters project, we are just so grateful that you've all come together today, and we've been able to put together a session where there's been some interesting exchange. And we're so grateful that we were able to provide some mentorship that really sounds like has made a difference for many of you. And mentorship, we're also looking for more mentors. So you that are mentors with us today, I encourage you to keep active on Blue Biomatch, because that's also where we're going to be sending people when they are looking for mentors. It's a much easier way to get everyone put onto the same platform to find each other. So I want to thank everybody for your participation. This is kind of wrapping up for us what has been almost a year of work with boot camps, mentoring program, matchmaking. And I hope this is just sort of sparking some more conversations and deep dives for all of you after today. So we're going to close down this, but again, thank you everybody for your participation, and we're looking forward to continued contact, but on the Blue Biomatch and through our project.
Yeah, Sonia, just a very quick question there. I guess that we are going to share some of the content of the today's session to all the people that register, all the investors that maybe at the end couldn't make it. So that way, all the enterprises that pitched today will have that content also shared with investors, and of course, through Blue Biomatch to just spread the word and try to boost all the collaboration and yeah, for their synergies for everyone there.
Yeah, absolutely. So all this material is going to be shared with everyone, and we did have quite a few more that were registered that perhaps couldn't show up today, but all of them will be receiving this material, the presentation material, and we'll be sending out the summary of the chat as well, so people can make sure that they don't miss out on some of the important contacts. So thank you so much, everybody, for your time, and that's a wrap for our Transnational Bootcamp through BlueBioClusters. Thank you today, everyone.